The list is growing of cities and states going after opioid drug manufacturers. The crisis is killing 115 Americans every day. Now, a nonprofit group is pushing an effort to curb the number of pills doctors prescribe after surgery. Joining us is Shannon Hartley of Shatterproof. And Shannon, what is causing America's opioid crisis?
So the opioid crisis is really complex. There's unfortunately not a single cause or a single solution. But as we're learning more, we know that overprescribing of prescription painkillers or opioid painkillers has been a contributor to this. And we wanted to do this survey among women to really understand more broadly their perceptions, what's happening in post-surgical pain management and other areas to get a deeper understanding of this issue.
Why are women mostly at risk?
So women are more likely than men to be prescribed higher doses of painkillers following surgery. And when we look at post-surgery use of opioids, almost 3 million patients are becoming persistent opioid users following surgery. And what that means is 3 to 6 months after their procedure, they're still taking that medication. And of that 3 million, 2 million of those people are women.
It is a problem because people get hooked on those opioids and then they turn to heroin. Are there alternatives to manage pain after surgery?
There absolutely are a lot of alternatives. And what we've seen is that women want to access those alternatives. In fact, a majority of the women in our survey wanted to know about non-opioid alternatives, but they weren't having those conversations with their physicians. Less than a third of them actually had a conversation prior to their surgery about what those alternatives could be. And part of that is because there are too many hurdles right now in being able to access them. Education is one, but there's also regulations that are getting in the way of people being able to access non-opioid alternatives that could really help us at that kind of front end point before someone does become addicted to these substances.
What do you mean when you say regulations are getting in the way?
Sure. Actually right now there's several pieces of legislation pending in Congress, and part of these regulations that are getting in the way are blocking people and payment for non-opioid alternatives.
I know this is becoming a personal crusade for you. Tell us about your story.
Last summer, I have a 17-year-old son, and my son had to have wisdom teeth surgery, like many kids his age. And when we went in to have the surgery, the oral surgeon immediately wrote a prescription for 30 opioids. And because I work in this area, fortunately, I was able to kind of push back and say, well, wait a minute, this is a 17-year-old child, and you're now exposing them to opioids. Aren't there alternatives? The physician wasn't able to have that discussion with me about medication that was available. But by doing my own research and because of the information we have available as resources on our website for others, I was able to give my son Advil, Tylenol, ice, and some milkshakes. He didn't have to take the opioid. He was able to return to playing lacrosse in just a couple of days.
Thank you for sharing all this critical information with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate you covering this topic today.
Check out businessfirstam.com to find out where to see our entire show. And don't forget to like, follow, and share Business First AM.